Alright guys, such Cammy again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day. So for a few days into Black Ops 7, a major drama continuing to emerge on the state of the game right now on the maps and the game modes that we are about to play. Many of these maps may well be viable. Some early rumours as to what the Mapset is going to look like when the CDL gets underway for that $75,000 tournament kickoff in just a couple of days time. But also, what about Overload as the third mode? The OpTic guys seem to be liking it. Some questions right now on the overtime rules and what they should look like. But Scrappy believes maybe we should just go back to control. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. We're going to start here. So we talked about Legend earlier today having a tricky time so far, it's got to be said, in these early tournaments. That should not be too much of a surprise, but it's understandable that many of the Halo players looking to make the transition have not been held in such high regard by some of the Challengers players, right? And as a result of various issues, it's been a challenge to get that to work. Now, Legend, of course, when Shotzzy first came in 2019, 2020, you know, people were calling him Botsy. He wasn't looking good for the first couple of months. Then we know what Shotzzy's up to today, right? So it's too early to say, Legend's, you know, he's a bust, right? It ain't gonna work. That's, you know, clearly not what should be said a week into a new title. But there is understandable reasons, given the importance of the first couple of months in Challengers, why some of the Challengers teams are, let's say, well, holding off on signing any of the Halo guys, especially because no COD experience and no pro points either. But Renegade is still trying to make the switch. Now, Renegade played a bit of COD before when the transition was made by Shotzzy back in Black Ops 4, really, going into W19. And he was okay, but he wasn't as good as Shotzzy was. But over the last couple of years of Halo, Renegade has been that guy, basically. And, well, certainly up there on the OpTic team and on previous teams as well. And he does confirm yesterday, after some speculation, because there was some speculation that Hex and OpTic were, you know, maybe understandably not so keen to just allow them to walk away for free and go to a Challengers team. Hex actually said that if he is going to let one of their players go, it's going to be to a Pro League opportunity, right? And now we have seen that. Legend's gone straight to Surge. But for Renegade, that wasn't going to happen. So what does that look like? There were some questions on that. And Renegade says, look, I would, though, rather compete in Black Ops 7 than play Halo, at least for the time being. So he's still going to try and get a team. We'll see what that looks like in the coming days. But at least we're going to get somebody else other than Legend probably make the switch. Collect has been another name still continuing to be talked about. But let's talk about the map pool, because Ghost of Hope says this was the best COD map in the last 5 years. 6-star. You know, I wouldn't necessarily disagree. I think 6-star was pretty spectacular. But I do think that in Black Ops 7, we have been treated relatively well with the maps that we have. Okay, maybe it's not unbelievably spectacular, but I think it's certainly much better than we have seen. Do we have in Black Ops 7, you know, the best maps ever? Not necessarily, but in terms of putting together an actual competitive map pool, we have lots of very viable options. And there's more to come where that came from, because Ghost of Hope also says, with a wink emoji, this, of course, is Arsenal from Black Ops 4. Legendary map, played very well in that game. It was probably like the best control map that we've probably ever had in COD, to be perfectly honest. This was a great addition. It was played in Hardpoint, it was played in Search and Destroy. You're not going to find many players that didn't enjoy playing Arsenal. Simp certainly being one of them. We'll see Simp's reaction here right about now when Vegas are like, or FaZe Vegas, hang on a second here, Simp, they'd know better than to put me back on this map. So we know we've got remasters in the works as well. We've got Yemen, we think. We've got Meltdown. We know that Standoff is on the way. So loads of other classic Black Ops 2 maps are on their way back. Certainly Meltdown for Search and Destroy. We know that we can throw that in without any problems, and that can be competitive. I think from a watching perspective, we're going to have a great time this year. I think the CDL, if they're making the calls again when it comes to what the map set's going to be, they're going to have tons of options and maps they can put in. But I will say, there are fewer Black Ops 4 maps and talking points in this game than I thought that there might be. We know that Hacienda came back last year in Black Ops 6. I mean, Exposure looks like a bit of a cross. Like, it's not frequency, but the building's going to have a little bit of a frequency / Arsenal type of vibe. So, you know, some of the maps in this game strike me as Black Ops 4 looking maps. A lot of this game also looks kind of like Infinite Warfare, I think, and even plays a bit like Infinite Warfare as well. But I thought that they might be bringing something else back. Frequency, Arsenal, maybe a Seaside or something like that could return. But they've not done that yet, but apparently they will. So there are more remasters on the way. We've got Raid already in the game. We've got Express already in the game. We've got Hijacked already in the game. Not going to be, though, competitive. This is Arsenal potentially on the way. So these are all the maps, just to run through them if you guys aren't familiar. We've got Blackheart, that ain't going to be played. We've got Colossus, this has been seeing quite a lot of play. Is it spectacular? Probably not. Is it the prettiest map to look at? Also probably not, but it does strike me as definitely worthy of consideration. We've got Cortex, probably not quite as good as I hope that it might be, but still relevant. Yeah, the wall bouncing on this biolab section can be a bit of a mess. We've got Den, which I think is brilliant. Like, I love watching Den. There is still talk about whether that rooftop lane could be worked around. Could there be a window or some sort of blown up option here to make that more accessible? Possibly, but I still think it flows pretty well. Strikes me as potentially viable for all the modes. Exposure, like, I don't love it, but I think it kind of does work, and some of the pros are pretty happy with moving forward with Exposure. We've then got Express. We know that's going to be viable for search. We've not seen it played much yet. There was a little bit of talk about why, and, well, we know that there's a train that flies through the map, as we know. Now, turning that off in custom games has always been a thing, but I don't know, for some reason in this game it seemed like it didn't work, but now maybe it does work again. Maybe the pros kind of recognize that Express will be viable, so there's no point really playing it, or they will want to try the other things out maybe. Like, the CDL will decide, because Express was played in BO2, was played in Cold War, would absolutely be a viable search and destroy map. Will it be in the game immediately? Who knows? But, well, the decision will be made in the coming days. Flagship, not even worth talking about. Hijack, not really worth talking about. Homestead, I'd love to see this work, because it's absolutely gorgeous, but I can't see that being played in competitive. Imprint is, this is the thing to me. Imprint of the potentially competitively viable maps is, I think, the worst. It's not a great map, but on other games, on other recent COD titles, we'd be saying, you know what, Imprint, it's not that bad, throw it in, right? But this game, we probably don't even have to do that, and I think that's a good sign in general. As I say, are these maps like, wow, oh my god, Traixx have cooked to an unbelievable degree? Maybe not. But at least the majority of these maps, okay, I don't even know what's going on with Paranoia, are at least viable, and Raid needs no explanation. There's also Retrieval. Now, you look at the overall minimap, you think there's no way, but Dashy, Kenny, some others believe this map could actually work. I also don't hate it, because the rocks look like a bit of a mess, but all the rocks have little head glitches next to them, so the map doesn't flow terribly. I think for Search and Destroy, it could be worth considering. I also love a snow map, so I don't know, that's obviously a little bit of bias in there as well. Scar is absolutely viable. This has been probably the map of the game so far, in a sense. You see this played all the time, maybe in addition to Den. So then the Forge, I mean, watching the beta, you'd have thought the Forge would definitely be played, probably, but it's not right now. It could maybe work. It's one of those more outside options, I think, with Exposure, with Imprint. If you can turn off the spinning thing in the middle as well, the dynamic map elements, that's certainly going to help. And then you've got Toshin, and people thought that Toshin was going to be a very viable one. For some reason, they were going to make that change with the train, so you can get up into the top building. Now, they have made that change, but they've not put it in the game yet. For some reason, it's coming in Season 1. I don't know why, but they're delaying that change for some reason, because if they did change that, the game, the map actually might play better and be viable. Right now, it's not terrible, but it's not really seen much talk, and that's it for the maps. But I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty impressed by the current map set. We have plenty of options to think about. Back in Black Ops 3, I mean, I'm going to do it again. In that game, there were at least, but there were really 7 viable maps for many of the modes. So you had Fringe, you had Breach, of course you had Infection was played in Search and Destroy, and of course in Uplink as well. You had Strongholds, you had Redwood was played in Search, and then you had Hunted and Evac as well. So that was 7 very viable maps, and there were even some more other options that could be considered. Early doors they played on Combine. But, we had, if you played GBs in Black Ops 3, you could play the CDL rules, which were those maps I mentioned, which were, well, CWL as it was back then, Fringe, Stronghold, Breach, Infection, and Redwood. But then there was also like a GB rules or whatever, maybe it was the other way around, where Hunted and Evac were also an option. So we basically had a 7 map pool in that game. This game, okay, maybe those maps I've just mentioned are better than the 7 maps that we have in this title, but this is what Ghost of Hope says is currently being looked at for the map pool. So, in Hardpoint, we're looking at Den, no shock there, Raid, also no shock there, Colossus, Exposure, Scar, Cortex, and the Forge. So, you know, going through the maps that we've just mentioned, no Imprint, of course, seen here, but maybe for Overload, that could be a possibility. But this apparently is what they're considering. So, Den, Raid, Colossus, no Toshin anywhere. I think Toshin maybe could be viable at some point if they do make that change. Not for now. But Den, Scar, and Raid, no surprises. Colossus, I think, is also pretty good. Then Cortex, the Forge, Exposure. So, look, if they have 7, we can choose the best 5 of those 7. I mean, you know, we could even potentially just have 7, right? That's not impossible at all. We've seen it done before. Typically, we always go for an odd number because of vetoes, right? So, you know, allowing both teams to eliminate either way. Maybe that doesn't need to be a thing. Could we have 6 and get away with it? Probably. But it just makes things maybe a little bit more awkward. But that's what we're looking at. Now, in Search and Destroy, Den, Raid, Scar again, with Colossus again. So, looks like Colossus is going to be played. But Express thrown in as well. No, we've not really seen Express played much in these early tournaments, but understandable that would be considered. But Overload is kind of the key question, right? What are we looking like for Overload? What do the teams think about Overload? Is it going to be any good? So these are some of the perspectives on that from the players, because there have been big debates over the last few days as to whether Overload is actually any good or not. These are the maps, Imprint, Exposure, Den, that it may or may not be played on.
The Overload is fire. Wow.
Yeah,
that shit is fire. That shit's fire, dude. Wow. People, wait, why are people complaining about it? Shit is godlike. Compared to Control?
I don't know how people can complain about it. They haven't played it.
Wait, it actually looked kind of interesting.
Nah, it was actually like turnt, bro. For once, holy fuck.
Shit, we're getting.
Nice one, maybe. One shot. Nice GG's, bro. Yo, chat, someone asked me if I like Control better. I do. I think Control's way better. I think the problem with Control is the maps. I think everyone fucking hates Control because the maps were so fucking shit for them. It's just that's the reality of it, bro. Control is actually not that bad. It's just the fucking maps, bro. The maps that when we play are just so fucking garbage. This is just the game mode. I just don't like it. The game mode just I just don't actually like this game mode. Like the game mode in general, I don't like. I liked Control. I didn't like the maps we played on Control.
Yeah, I think I've got good settings there though. Can't tell which one's the ball carrier.
Inner. Dead. I'm on shot. Behind us. In our room. Grab ball. Brandon's dead. Another one here. Outer. Nice. We can do this. 10.
The overload device is in our control.
Hey, there's 2. There should be 3 outer. They spawn there. They all spawn there.
Yeah. They can't even get it. Ball guys, one shot. Ball guys, one shot. He's off the map.
Enemies are carrying the EMP.
Wait, it's overtime.
No second chances.
Wait, yo, it's S&D. What the fuck? 3v2. Both their side.
Okay, don't go to their side.
We picked up the EMP.
I don't even think it.
Oh my god. I don't even know what would just happen.
Impressive work.
Good shit. That's how it works, I guess. Can't do much about that one. Good shit, boys.
Wait, dude, who's hosting
This
that?
Yeah, I don't know how you would do it because there's no offense, no defense, right? Like, who's
Yeah.
like, why even grab the device and even like try? Because when you grab the device, they know where you are, right?
I guess most kill or higher kills goes good side, I guess, and then you just played it for one. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or do you
Yeah,
do
no
two
idea.
sides, like play to one, and then if you cap in a minute, they have a minute to cap. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, that would be far.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd have to be far. Yeah, in the meantime, bro, just take it off, and then if it's tied, you replay.
We get out in the pitch and do some penalty kicks.
Yeah, it cuts to like you guys on a field.
Yeah.
Shit. Alright, boys, good luck, man.
Thank you.
So Shotzzy seems to be liking Overload early doors, and it's interesting, we even see in that clip, right, the overtime rules, how the overtime rules should work. Should there, because there's no attack defense in the traditional way, even, you know, obviously in Uplink it was kind of the same story, but back then they would do additional time until effectively you'd replay the rounds, and it would be the time until you scored an Uplink point, then you would, you know, the other team would have to then go and do the same thing again. So in a shorter time frame, right? So it's kind of like they capture the flag idea, you go and capture the flag, and then the other team's got to do it in less seconds, and if they don't, then you win. If they do, then they win. That, I think, would be fine in this game. It's something that's worth thinking about anyway in terms of Overload. I kind of like it. It's different to Control. It adds a different element. I think it's going to make for some very hype moments this season. And yeah, Scrap might not be very happy about it, but look, we've not played it yet competitively. Everyone knows what Control's like. We've played it for 6 years. It's early days in Overloads. You know, I think it's pretty good. I think it's going to be more entertaining to watch than Control. It's going to have its good moments. It's going to have its bad moments. I think one thing for me is that in Control, for example, even in Hardpoint and Search and Destroy, there's never a loser before the final second is elapsed, right? In Control, you can always bring it back. If you get in the point with 0.1 on the clock and you pop a 4-piece, you can still win that map. But in Uplink, in CTF, in Overload, if you're winning by 4 points with, you know, a couple of minutes on the clock, it's probably cooked, right? So, you know, there is that element, but I still think it's worth going for. Very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.